Drive Home with Stacey and Jay Spoo, East Coast Radio.
This afternoon on The Great Debate, is tourism South Africa's economic lifeline, bringing jobs and billions into the country, or is it slowly eroding local lifestyles and pricing its own residents out of their own communities?
The views and opinions expressed in this feature are those of the listeners and participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of East Coast Radio.
All right, here is argument number one. Tourism is not a luxury, it's an economic lifeline. I want you to picture this real quick, right? A German couple lands at OR Tambo International Airport. They hire a car. They sleep in a guest house. They eat at a local restaurant. They book a safari because they want to see things. They buy some beadwork from the lady, side of the road. She's a vendor, That's one couple that just didn't arrive to take pictures at the airport, but they came to support and inject money directly into the local economy. Tourism in South Africa contributes close to 9% of the country's GDP and supports around 1.6 and 1.7 million jobs. That includes waiters, tour guides, drivers, housekeepers, craft sellers, taxi drivers, and DJs, right? So here is...
Noted.
Here is a case study, right, that speaks on Safari's economies, right? So for many communities, tourism is the only functioning economy in parts of Limpopo and Mpumalanga and Eastern Cape, where Andy James, our traffic lady, comes from. The entire town exists because of wildlife tourism. When tourists come to see the Big Five, they support the lodges, conservation staff, rangers, cleaners, chefs, and transport operators. Without that tourism spend, many of these rural economies would literally collapse. Another perspective is the foreign money factor, right? Tourism is also what economists call an export industry without shipping anything. Foreign tourists bring money into the country and spend it locally. In 2024 alone, tourists spent over 90 billion rands directly into South Africa. That's the amount of money they were able to bring in 2024. That's money entering the country, not circulating internally. The hard truth is, South Africa has already one of the highest unemployment rates in the world, right? Take tourism away, you are not just losing beaches full of tourists, you're potentially losing over 1 million livelihoods.
All right, that is argument number one. Argument number two, but tourism is quietly pricing locals out of their own cities. So let's take a different vantage point, a different story. You, like me, grew up in Cape Town. Your families lived there for generations, born and bred, but suddenly your rent doubles. Your favorite cafes become a tourist brunch spot. Your street now lined with Airbnbs. And the reality of it is that the city that you know, that you love, that you grew up in starts to feel more like a theme park for visitors. And it isn't just a feeling, it is happening in major tourism spots across the world. So case study number one, Cape Town's very own Airbnb boom. You've obviously heard about this. I'm sure someone you know is Cape Townian and they do be complaining. So in neighborhoods like Sea Point and Greenpoint and Woodstock, thousands of properties are now short-term rentals for tourists. That means instead of renting to us, to locals, for let's call it 10,000 Rand a month, landlords can charge tourists 2,000 Rand a night. So what ultimately happens? Housing stock disappears and locals get priced out. The next point is the tourism economy trap. So when a city leans too heavily on tourism, businesses stop serving locals. Locals become background characters in their own city, and you start seeing souvenir stores instead of grocery stores, brunch cafes instead of affordable restaurants, luxury developments instead of actual housing. And the big question that we're asking you today, KZN, tourism brings money in, but if locals can't afford to live in the cities tourists are visiting, who are these cities for, actually, anymore?
Yeah. So, where do we draw the line? Should South Africa push tourism aggressively to grow the economy and create jobs? Or should there be limits to protect local lifestyle, housing, and culture? Please do participate in the Great Drive debate. You can call us on 087-0869-495. Otherwise, you can also send us a voice note to 061-792-9495.
And on the line from Port Shepstone, we have Donnie. How are you?
How's it, Donnie?
How are you guys? I'm good, and you?
Hey, we fantastic. Thank you so much for joining the Great Drive debate. A little bit tells us. A little birdie tells us that you understand both sides. Could you please elucidate? Yeah.
Yes, I do. I was actually working in the tourism industry for 10 years. I was a hotel manager, but also I was also renting out condominiums and houses for holidays for my boss, where there is, you can understand both ways. There's lots of money coming in.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, the people are suffering because of the tenants for the holiday don't understand the rules of the noise and this and that. And then all levies and everything goes up, to avoid this. And then the people that's lived there for 10 years now decide, look, they can't live there anymore. They have to move because now there's too many holiday makers. Too many people have bought too many holiday flats in the building. Or the house next door you've had for 20 years has now got on either side, has got its holiday house. So, what do you do?
What do you do? People need to make money, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel for both sides, especially the people. I can consider them. If I had my house and I'm an old person for 15 years and now you got noise every weekend next to you in December even longer,
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah.
But then the people are coining it. The South Coast is getting the money, it's helping. But then, like you said, the house prices go up because it's getting more, it's getting more favoured in the area.
Donnie, quick one before Stacey asks you. So when your boss was making the money, could you see it directly impacting the community where, for example, you guys would hire someone who lives around to help clean that Airbnb, or like you'd use a local cleaning service for the pool or whatever the case may be, or you would actually invest time in guiding them around Potchefstroom so that they can explore other local products available to them? Or was it just stay here and didn't see for yourself and you really didn't use the local products?
No, we actually did do it. I did it myself too, and we did hire people to clean the places and everything, and it did give them jobs. And if there was no one staying in there, then those people wouldn't have jobs anymore. And also, I was the one also, and my ladies that was working with me, that would promote the places. They would come and ask, and I would say, look, this is a place you need to go to. This is a lovely place. This is this and this. In our areas around, and all the other places did the same. If we find that we're quiet, we call them, look, just throw some business our way and this way and that way. So it's a community where we help each other.
Collaborative, yeah.
Yeah, so, Donnie, obviously, thank you. This has been very insightful because I think the real kind of situation here, in case you are just joining us, so Donnie worked in the tourism industry for 10 years. So it's really the Switzerland of the situation because you understand and empathize both sides, right? Tourism is important. It's obviously it's necessary, making up 9% of South Africa's GDP. But then on the other hand, for the people who actually live in those areas, is it just forcing those people out? So look, Donnie, I don't know if we're going to be able to solve this problem today, but we thank you very much for your time and your insights. And sending you so much love. Thank you for listening and picking up the phone today. We appreciate you, okay?
Love you guys. Have an awesome day.
Love you too, my Donnie-kin. So that's Donnie from Port Shepstone. I think probably giving us the most honest answer that she can.
Yeah.
Is the money, good question that Jay asked Donnie there, is the money being plowed back into the community, or all those Airbnbs, the owners are making bank? What happens to the community, right? What happens to the neighbors? What happens to the neighborhood?
On the line, joining us to be a part of this conversation all the way from your hometown, Stacey, the Western Cape. Terence, welcome to the show, man. How you doing? Terence.
Hello.
How are you doing? Thank you for joining us, man.
Oh, thanks, man.
Lekker. All right. What are your views? What are your thoughts on today's Great Drive debate?
Come again?
What are your thoughts? What are your views on today's Great Drive debate centered around tourism in Mzansi?
Yeah, the tourism here in our country, it is 100% good. Because why other people of other countries is visiting our country, they're eating food, sleeping in a very expensive hotels, and they job for our people, like the KZN is a nice province. So that is my comment, eh?
All right, Terence. Well, that does make sense. Thank you, Terence. It's not necessarily that anyone is arguing that. I think that today it's about how do we strike the balance. And for someone who is a born and bred Cape Townian who could never dream of being able to even rent a one-bedroom shoebox in the Cape Town CBD now, right now. I think, when was it, 15 years ago, I was living next door to Parliament in Cape Town, and it was a one-bedroom little apartment, and it was costing me 12,000 Rand then.
Damn.
So when Cape Townians are crying, right? And it's not just because of the CBD. It's because of the traffic. It's because it's now moved out into the southern suburbs too, and eventually will trickle into the northern suburbs, that they are being dishomed basically because of this massive surge in Airbnbs. And you go, well, Cape Town has the mountain, right? Then you must suffer. Guys, KZN is next. This place is Stanza Bonanza. The amount of Airbnbs just around here. HQ, just around here. And again, is there anything wrong with buying a property and making your money back? No.
Yeah.
Is anything wrong with inviting people in and taking their pounds and stuff? Of course not. But where do we draw the line when we want to rent an apartment, and now in order to sub out what would have been 2,000 Rand a night, you're now spending 25,000 Rand on a one-bedroom apartment in Mhlanga Ridge?
Yeah.
Question mark.
It's complicated because it's a win for the province, but it's also a loss for the province. So we still want to get your thoughts.
So you're in Cape Town for 10 days, then you go to Joburg, then you come to Durban.
A package, come to Durban, go to Drakensberg.
Tour South Africa.
Tour South Africa, so that alleviates the pressure that each part of South Africa
and we're spreading the money.
And we're spreading the money. Everyone gets a piece of the pie. And then the other one that I think is very important is reinvesting money back into the communities. Make people of the community feel like they belong. Make it look like and feel like it is theirs. An uncle starting, a certain service. Maybe he's doing the beading. Maybe his wife is offering another service. Maybe he's the tour guide. Like, make it belong to the community. That way, everyone feels like it is theirs. You don't want it to work against the community, but make it work for the community.
There's definitely been an uptick as well in just people who have come to visit South Africa and gone back on their little TikToks and been like, South Africans are so angry. Brew, we can't afford bread.
Stacy, Jasbo, hope you're good. I think as much as we need to draw the line or have limitation when it comes to tourism in South Africa, but at the same time, I think tourism have a huge impact in South African economy. With the high rates of petrol, even electricity now, I think if our economy can be strong, a rand is be strong against the dollar, we can live in a South Africa that we once dreamed of.
Hi, Stacey and James. Yes, living in South Africa is getting expensive, especially in the tourist destinations like, for example, Cape Town. But this is bringing in more business, more job opportunities. So I think as South Africans, we could use this to advantage, There should be some kind of law whereby South Africans pay a certain price, a lower price, and international people pay another price. If you can produce a South African ID, you pay lower.
Good afternoon, East Coast Radio. It's Michelle, and I'm saying pro-tourism because the amount of money that it brings in from foreign investment, people have a lot more money to spend because their money is obviously worth more than the rand. So they're happy to spend their money, and I think the restaurants benefit and your local people benefit, even your little local pop-up stores and your sort of shops and everything. I even think of when the people come in from different areas like Joburg or whatever, they fly in here, they spend money and we reap the benefits. So your owners reap the benefits, your bed and breakfasts. It's a ricochet effect. So I say pro-tourism.
What about the community is what we are asking to balance out that statement.
Stacey and Jay Spoo, KZN's #1 hit music station, East Coast Radio.